Hello, my fellow Americans and international friends, and welcome back into the Cal Report. Today is August 8th, 2022. So today we're going to focus on what took place at the last Yorba City Council meeting on August 2nd. Basically, the housing element is getting on everyone's nerves in the city. Residents and city council members are trying to find the best solution where to put these so-called affordable housing units. The housing element, of course, is a state mandate that told every city in California that they need to build a certain number of affordable housing units. So before we dive into public comment and council's response, let's break it down how this all came about. And this is nothing new, just so you know, ladies and gentlemen. It's been known for quite some time. So up in Sacramento, there's a state agency called HCD, Department of Housing and Community Development. They came up with a number of housing units that they thought needed to be built in the state. That number got shipped down to something called SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments. They allocated that number to each city within Southern California, and they told each city this is how many housing units you have to allow for in your housing element to be built. So if you hear the word RHNA, which stands for Regional Housing Needs Assessment, that's the number of housing units each city has to build. Yorba number is 2,415. Other Orange County cities had much larger numbers than that. Anyway, let's take you back to August 2nd at the Yorba City Hall. Enjoy.
The Fairmont Site, I'll ask you for the numbers, so get ready. The Bryant Ranch Site and the Christmas Tree Site along Richfield. And I'm sure we'll hear as people get up and talk about those sites, but a large number of the community has said those sites present specific problems, and city, you need to deal with these issues or look at alternatives. So under the rationale of SB 197, I'm fairly confident that since other cities that don't even have a certified housing element yet and are getting additional time if they get a certified element by October, that if we don't put these on the ballot at this time, we have some leeway to try and find if there are alternatives. We can't pull them off because we listed them in our housing element, but not approve them at this time and basically see what we can do. That's option 3. So if you hear about option 3, that would be option 3. The last option is defer action on all 27 sites. Don't put any of them to a Measure B vote. Don't do anything. Don't rezone anything because we have 2.5 more years, right? Well, as I stated, our housing element says we'll go to a vote in this November for the housing element. And I'm concerned that if we don't go to a vote with some sites, that could create potential legal issues and concerns from the state. What David's talking about is HCD has the ability to decertify a housing element, right? So what is certification? Certification is we had to go through this whole process, every city had to go through this process, where we send our plan, the housing element that's in front of us tonight, to HCD, and HCD has to sign off on it. That's called certification. If we start deviating from that plan, too much from that plan, HCD can send us a letter and say, you know, that plan we certified, we're taking that back. We're decertifying you. And then the whole panoply of things that Nate talked about as potential lawsuits, fines, loss of local control could happen. We will fight against them, I assure you of that, but that is the reality. We live in the state of California, for better or for worse.
Now, for some reason, it was a good idea for the lot across the street, directly across the street on Eureka. There's another multi-acre lot there that is being zoned 10 units per acre. So why 10 units on one side, surrounded on 3 sides by single-story homes, and then across the street, 35 units per acre? I think this is pretty bad. Over there off Prospect and Yorba Boulevard, if you go look at those houses, just stand in that neighborhood. What do you see? Towers. What do those people get in the afternoons? Shadows. Their houses live in shadow from the sun in the late afternoons. Where do all these people park? in their neighborhood. Why? Because people move into their homes, they stuff their garage full of their garbage, and then they park their cars outside. And as we all know, high-density condominium townhome complexes do not have enough parking, especially for a mom, a dad, 2 kids, and the relatives who come to visit. It just doesn't happen.
All the people that live in the Inland Empire, oh my God, there's a rain event, there's a fire, there's an overturned tanker. We all have to leave work early. We have to bombard La Palma, Santa Ana Canyon. We need to get home. There's nothing put into place. There's no evacuation plan in place that stipulates what are we going to do to get these kids out. These buses should have been police escorted back to this school. Am I wrong? We have sheriff's deputies standing outside doing a wonderful job. However, their vehicles can hold what in an emergency? 5 if you crammed them in, 6. You know, there's 10 staff out at the school. What are you going to fit 50 kids in there? What are you going to tell the other 200 kids? Run? What are you going to tell them? Because I don't know what to tell them, and they're my kids, wondering where my mom is and if they're going to die. My son is traumatized and doesn't want to go to school on a windy day because he said, what if a fire starts, Mom? We are damn lucky this wind changed in 2020, because if it didn't, I don't know if I'd be standing here saying the same thing. I don't know if any of us that have kids at Bryant Ranch would be standing here saying the same thing, because I don't know what to tell these kids if, God forbid, they can't get out. They would be running because there's not enough cars to get them out. There's not enough sheriff's vehicles to get up there.
Why Caltrans decided to put the 241 through the one artery that goes to the IE, I can't embrace why anybody would decide to do that other than financial. If we make it tough enough, then we can charge people $20 to go 3 miles. You can tell I'm very, very angry about this. What other rationale would you have with all the brilliance that we have statewide that you would decide to add an artery to an already miserable situation that my wife had to get off in 1986 at Ware Canyon? Unbelievable.
I don't think any of us citizens are opposed to affordable housing. We just think that our input should be taken and we should all work together to have this happen. Captain, I want to take exception. You talk about this evacuation plan. I spent a lot of time today on the internet looking at the City of Yorba website, the Orange County Sheriff's plan. Where is this evacuation plan? Okay, you talk about zones. So I'm envisioning standing in my neighborhood with fire rolling over the hills. How is this evacuation going to happen? Okay, will the zone above me be done first? How is this going to happen? You say there's a plan, but none of us know about a plan. I take exception to that. I spent 35 years working for another Orange County city. I've been involved in strategic planning for a long time. To say that from a public safety standpoint, the citizens are not going to be impacted by adding 6,000, 10,000 additional residents, you're wrong. I understand law enforcement is provided by a contract in Yorba Linda. To increase that takes a vote of council to do that. Part of this plan should be specified how many more firefighters, how many more police officers the city is going to hire to manage an increased population. If you say crime is on the rise, then I don't think you see what's going on today. Thank you.
You elected us to do the deep dive, do the investigation, and do the research that you didn't have the time to do. That's what we do. I would love to sit there and pander to you and say, you're right. Let's tell the state to pound sand. We're not going to do anything. Number 4. Do you realistically think the state is going to go, okay, you're right, Yorba Linda, we'll go away because you told us to pound sand? Do you really think that's going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. We already know that because 77 other cities fought that. We're not the first. 77 other cities fought this. Each one lost. You heard Huntington Beach. Pasadena, same thing. State came in and said, fine, we're taking away your zoning, we're going to do it. We're not making this up. If we can see what's going to happen and lead you down a path of, yeah, let's go ahead and fight this, because that's what you really want, I'd be derelict in my duty. You don't like my thinking? Don't vote for me. But I'm going to keep you out of trouble or do my best. I live in this city too. I heard tonight people talk about crime. Two businesses on Richfield. One was my daughter's. I know that. My son-in-law and my daughter live on Richfield. I have 3 children. All live in the city of Yorba Linda. All own homes. 6 grandchildren. All live here. Get this. One lives on Lakeview, one lives on Buena Vista, and one lives on Richfield. You couldn't pick worse places. My daughter can't even drive out of her driveway on Lakeview. It's horrible. Richfield, traffic, I don't think it's a traffic issue. I think it's a speed issue. They usually act like it's a freeway. They fly down there. You're right. I've walked my two youngest grandkids on Richfield. You're right. You step off that sidewalk, you're going to get nailed. It's horrible. We have enough problems that we do need to address. This is just another one. I wish as elected officials, we had the opportunity just pick and choose what we want to work on. Let's deal with this. We have the whole plethora of issues at the same time we're dealing with. And we do a good job. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We're human. We make mistakes. Did we communicate effectively? Apparently not, since I heard enough of you say you didn't get it. But I will ask you, how many turn into the council meetings? How many watch TV? We've been doing this for 10 years. And to hear somebody say, I just got the word. I'm thinking, did you ever watch your TV in a council meeting? I get it. All of us have to work.
Hey, guys.
Hang on a minute.
Hold on.
I listened patiently to you talk. Now let me talk. It's my turn to talk.
It's Mayor Pro Tem.
My turn to talk.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Mayor Pro Tem's turn. Public comment, we've had 3 hours of it. We are closed with public comment.
I had to listen to you dump on us. And I don't want to dump. I'm just merely saying that we are trying to do our best up here. We are trying to do our best. And I'm saying if you can't get to council meeting, okay, I'm sorry. We've been doing it for 10 years. This didn't sneak up on anybody. Obviously, could we do it better? Yeah, maybe we should have. And we'll, maybe much better. And we'll learn from that. We'll try to do our best. Maybe we just need to go door to door, knock on everyone's head. Hey, here's this hot issue. It's going to affect you. We have a lot of those issues, by the way. You're only dealing with this one. There's a whole lot more things coming down the pike. But if that's what you want, if you think that's the best way to do it, we'll work on it. We'll try our best. Amend the motion to include the hydrology report on Fairmont, yes.
And I'll second.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
And Mayor Rodriguez.
No.
Thank you. Motion passes with Mayor Rodriguez voting no.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this housing element across the entire state as we move forward. But for now, that's it for today. Really appreciate you guys watching my video. As always, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, or please subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate it, guys. And of course, this podcast is done in association with Conservative Patriots of Orange County. That's what's going on in California. God bless, take care, and I'll see you all next time.